Now, a lot has changed in almost a decade. The network where I actually started my TV career wouldn't ever hire anyone like me now.
Oh, cheer up, Laura. Yes, they would. They just did. I mean, assuming the other anchors at MSNBC are cool.
Not on my watch. Not on my watch.
It all started when MSNBC, in their infinite wisdom, decided to announce the hiring of former RNC chair Ronna McDaniel, which is kind of like announcing you have to use the restroom, if we're being honest. Stuff like that you should probably just handle in private. Now, I know a diversity of voices is important. Who can remember Corey Lewandowski on CNN?
So you confirmed that you were asked to obstruct justice.
No, Allison, please. That's not what I confirmed at all. By the way, the Mueller report was very clear. There was no collusion. There was no obstruction.
That's not what the Mueller report said, Corey.
It absolutely says that. And
Corey.
you should read the page that states that. And Bob Mueller
Wait a
had the
second, Corey.
opportunity
Hold on a second.
to
Hold on a
testify
second.
to that.
Time out, time out. Did you read the Mueller report?
No, I never did.
Then how do you know what it says?
And we will always have Paris Denard.
When a young African-American walks in a Cheesecake Factory with a Make America Great Again hat, he shouldn't be verbally accosted. You should maybe inquire as to why he's wearing it if you want to hear his point of view, but he should by no means feel that he's not welcome in a restaurant.
Okay.
This is the problem that we have as Americans, and we can all do better.
Mark, I know you want to respond to that. What do you want to say?
Nah, I was wondering what a dude was in the Cheesecake Factory, but I think for me, you know, most you know, that has y'all tripping, man.
Yeah, no,
focus.
Paris.
He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this phone.
Now, I clown Fox News early and often, but I'll give them credit. They got the best dissenter in the game.
Ronna McDaniel offers incredible access, which is definitely a huge part of this, and it's an election year, as Jesse said, but she's not a regular Republican. She's not a regular opposition voice, not only just because of how powerful she was in the job that she held, but she is someone who flies in the face of what has become the core ethos over at NBC and MSNBC, from refusing to say that Joe Biden freely and fairly won that election to getting on the phone with Donald Trump and calling up GOP officials in Michigan and pressuring them not to certify the election results. And so we all know this. If you tune in to MSNBC, you are going to hear about January 6th a lot. You are going to hear about how important. No, not okay. I'm not done.
Maybe because she's the only one making sense.
Step you can do is do not be on your phone. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your earbuds low, and pray that come November, there's a different change of leadership here, because if there was a Republican in office, the laws would actually be enforced, police wouldn't be defunded, and we wouldn't be in this situation.
Never mind the GOP voted to defund the DOJ, and the talking point going into the 2020 election was the liberal cities were burning to the ground. You, Emily Compagno, have now said the dumbest thing in 3 straight editions of Street Politics. We are a quarter of the way to a compilation. You keep up the good work. Now, diversity of voices is important, but diversity of reality? How do you get past that? Well, you can't. And MSNBC's own voices made that clear.
And so I want to associate myself with all my colleagues, both at MSNBC and at NBC News, who have voiced loud and principled objections to our company putting on the payroll someone who hasn't just attacked us as journalists, but someone who is part of an ongoing project to get rid of our system of government. Someone who still is trying to convince Americans that this election stuff, it doesn't really work, that this last election, it wasn't a real result, that American elections are fraudulent. Because that argument, that is a necessary part, that is the most necessary part of the overall project of getting us as Americans to give up on this election stuff. Because wouldn't we rather have a real man in charge anyway, somebody who could really get some stuff done, if only we could clear away all the things in his way. We have a long history in this country of forgettable men telling us that we need a new system of government where everything's under their control and politics is over and this new strongman way of government is gonna make America great again. We have had a lot of these guys. But our generation's version of this guy has gotten a lot farther than all the rest of them. And why is that? He would have been as forgotten as all the rest of them had he not been able to attach himself to an institution like the Republican Party. And had the leader of that party in his time not decided that she wouldn't just abide him, she would help. She would help with the worst of it. The person who was the head of the Republican Party during Donald Trump's time in office and during his effort to throw out the election result and stay in power anyway, and during his effort to run for election again after having done that, is Ronna Romney McDaniel. And she pitched in and helped. She helped set in motion the part of the plot that involved sending fake Trump electors to Congress from states that Trump did not win, so Republicans in Washington could use those fake, fraudulent elector slates to contend that maybe Trump did win those states, even though he didn't. And don't believe me on that. There she is on page 23 and page 27 of the federal indictment charging Donald Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States.
Oh, wait, there's more.
She called me a propagandist, but I've been called worse. She was not hired by MSNBC. I found out about it on Friday when it was publicly announced. I stopped inviting Trump liars like her on this program in 2016 because I've never seen a satisfying, successful interview of a Trump liar and have never thought that I alone could crack the code of how to interview a Trump liar. They are fast and furious liars, and I doubt that I could keep up.
We learned about the hiring when we read about it in the press on Friday. We weren't asked our opinion of the hiring, but if we were, we would have strongly objected to it for several reasons, including, but not limited to, as lawyers might say, Ms. McDaniel's role in Donald Trump's fake elector scheme and her pressuring election officials to not certify election results while Donald Trump was on the phone.
To be clear, we believe NBC News should seek out conservative Republican voices to provide balance in their election coverage. But it should be conservative Republicans, not a person who used her position of power to be an anti-democracy election denier.
On the one hand, if you've read some of the criticism of NBC that has come since the announcement, it is very clear that some of the critics just don't want to be confronted with Republican voices or conservative arguments. So there is that, and that's bad. We want to have a robust exchange between people who believe different things. But I agree with what's been said here. I mean, that's not what Romney McDaniel is doing. That's not what she's been doing. And she has huge credibility problems, not because she's been a partisan spinner on behalf of the Republican Party, but because she not only presided but drove the QAnonization of the Republican Party during her tenure. And it is the case that when you look at what she did with the fake electors specifically, she wasn't on that phone call because she felt bad about somebody. Donald Trump was on the call. Right. He was telling them, she was saying, we'll get you lawyers. Because the entire 6-week period after the November 2020 election was about making the case that the election had been stolen. She did a tremendous disservice to the country by making the argument that led to the erosion of faith. You've got half of the Republicans right now believe the election wasn't fair. And even today, confronted with her past votes, she couldn't give you a straight answer until your fourth or fifth time pressing.
Taking to MSNBC's own airwaves to excoriate the company's decision, that's like, well, every game Jordan Poole plays for the Washington Wizards. That's not just sending out resumes on company time. That's conducting Zoom interviews in the conference room while ducking a work meeting in the same conference room. That is gangster. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, what did he do to make them niggas that mad? Well, let's see.
Look at
wait a minute. Are you saying, as the chair of the Republican Party, that you still have questions as to whether or not Joe Biden was the duly elected president?
Joe Biden's the president.
No, I didn't ask you whether he's the president.
No, I don't think that. I think
Do you
there
think
were lots of problems.
he won the election?
I think there were lots of problems with 2020.
Do you think he won
he won the election.
Pardon?
But ultimately, he won the election. But there were lots of problems with the 2020 election. 100%.
And that's fair.
But I don't think he won it fair. I don't. I'm not going to say that.
You're saying you're not sure, as the Republican Party chair, that he was the legitimately elected
I'm saying there were
president.
lots of problems with the 2020 election, and we need to fix it going forward.
And reiterated you're standing behind Israel. Can you expand on your thoughts there?
Absolutely. I think this is a great opportunity for our candidates to contrast where Republicans have stood with Israel time and time again, and Joe Biden has been weak.
What do you think the most important question is that Republicans should get to the bottom of when they get there?
Well, we have to govern. We have to do things on behalf of the American people. But I do think we have to look at big tech and the suppression of the Hunter Biden laptop. So first of all, it is AI generated. So we're sharing that up front ethically. So it's not a deep fake. Every single image was AI. But we are painting a picture of a future Biden America. So we have to tackle it, put them on the defensive on their policy of due date abortion, on gender selection abortion. I think that's what China does, that you can abort a baby just because it's a girl. We can't think that the American people understand what socialism is. We do have to go out and educate. We have to talk about Venezuela, where 90% of the people right now are living beneath poverty, that they don't have groceries in their grocery stores, that people are eating dog food to survive. That is the path that Democrats are taking us down. Your party's doing that just fine. We don't need to help you with that at all. You're scaring voters everywhere with the open border. I mean, just last month, 2,000 pounds of fentanyl came across our border. That could kill 500 million people. We're coming into Halloween. Every mom in the country right now is worried, what if this gets into my kid's Halloween basket?
You're talking about the rainbow
fentanyl. What if my teenager gets this? And the media right now, by refusing to report on this, is stealing our faith in the election process. Tell the story. Talk about the people who are being disenfranchised. People across this country deserve to have election integrity, faith in our election system, and believe that there is election integrity. And that's why the RNC is going to pursue this to the very end.
Yes, it was the media, not your phone calls to officials in Michigan, not your fake electors. It was the media. You gonna believe me or your lying eyes? It's the same delusion that makes Donald Trump a victim of the criminal justice system. Yeah, I did a whole video about it. It was pretty good. NBC has now decided not to bring McDaniel aboard after first shuttling her from MSNBC to NBC News. So if you're following at home, NBC decided to give a woman a job breaking down an election after one she tried to overturn based on her credentials from a job where she was fired.
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you.
Those credentials, and that's just a view coming from the right, her own people. Those credentials got her that job. And when faced with backlash, NBC tried to push her from the opinion-based MSNBC to the fact-based NBC News. What part of any of what you've heard was fact-based?
So first of all, it is AI generated. So we're sharing that up front ethically. So it's not a deep fake. Every single image was AI, but we are painting a picture of a future Biden America.
It makes more sense to listen to Heidi Montag's music or Kim Kardashian's music or Paris Hilton's music or Ron Artest's music. It's a whole lot of bad music out there. They let anybody cut an album. They brought her in and really tried to save her. And why not? They worked hard for it. According to the Washington Post, MSNBC President Rashida Jones personally participated in recruiting McDaniel, and she was offered a more lucrative contributor contract after she agreed to appear on MSNBC and not just NBC News. And NBC executives, including Rebecca Blumenstein and Carrie Budoff Brown, led the hiring process. They heavily recruited this person.
I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023.
It's hard to even see through that level of privilege. It's clear that privilege extends beyond political parties, from the conservative country club to the liberal social club. Cronyism and nepotism stinks just as loudly. Oh, y'all didn't know? Yeah, Ronna McDaniel, as in Ronna Romney McDaniel.
Why did you change your name for Donald Trump? Before Trump ran for president, her name was Ronna Romney McDaniel. How does that feel, to change your name to curry favor with a madman because he doesn't like your uncle? How did you explain that to your kids?
That's the kind of integrity I'm looking for in a person. She changed her own name just to run the RNC into the ground. That's like getting a BBL to work at Brazzers. All that ass kissing just to get dumped? How does it feel?
Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for being out there. I just have two fun things I wanted to say to you. One, you're such a wonderful person. You've been so great to women.
Well,
you know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the
not all women.
Well, Ronna is a friend, and I did work for NBC, and in November I worked with Caesar and Rebecca and the whole team. I've never seen anything this brutal since I got started in media in 1990.
I have. Her resume. People choose to fly into DCA or even BWI. That's a whole nother city. So a couple of years ago, more than a couple of years ago, when I was back in my backsliding days, you know, the time when holidays don't mean time with family because you can't afford to see family. Holiday means you got a 3-4 day window to make bad decisions. That's really all holidays meant to me at the time. My mother was pleading with me to come home for Christmas. And I knew I couldn't afford to go home for Christmas, but it was weighing on me. And I said, you know, what would be better than just showing up, popping up, and surprising my mom in DC on Christmas Day? So I decided to look up plane tickets, and the only plane ticket I could afford last minute went into Dulles. Now, normally I flew into BWI, but you know what? I got to come into Dulles. You got to do what you got to do. So I called my mom on the way to the airport. She had no idea that I was coming. I called her on the way to the airport and I said, hey, Mom, how you doing? She said, I'm good. She'll wish you were here. And I was like, you know what? I'm on my way. She's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I said, I'm on my way. I'm going to the airport. I will be there shortly. She said, oh, what time you getting in? And what terminal? And I was like, oh, well, actually, I'm not flying into BWI. I'm actually flying into Dulles. And there was a long pause on the phone. And I heard, well, we ain't gonna be able to do that, baby. She had begged for me to come home for Christmas. She begged for me to come home for Christmas because she wanted her family together. But even then, she was unwilling to pick me up at Dulles International Airport. Now, I was reminded of that story when I saw this story that House Republicans have proposed renaming Washington Dulles International Airport to Donald J. Trump International Airport in honor of the former president. The bill was filed Friday by Representative Guy Reschenthaler with 6 Republican co-sponsors, Andrew Ogles and Chuck Fleischman of Tennessee, Michael Waltz of Florida, Paul Gosar of Arizona, because there's no bad bill that he won't sign on to, Barry Moore of Alabama, and Troy Nehls of Texas. As opposed to focusing on, I don't know, Ukraine aid, managing the Israeli crisis, and Gaza, Gaza, inflation, infrastructure, immigration, whatever this was supposed to mean.
If your constitutional rights have been violated, we will defend you. If you have illegal aliens invading your home, we will deport you.
Instead of any of those things, they decided to spend their time drawing up a bill to rename Dulles Airport. I guess they really took this to heart.
I want my Republican colleagues to give me one thing, that I can go campaign on and say we did.
Now, that would be one, except of course, it ain't happening. Even if the measure did pass the House, it would have to make it through the Democratic-controlled Senate and get the signature of President Biden.
This guy doesn't know what the hell he's doing. He doesn't know what he's saying. He doesn't know who to speak to. He's lost. He's a lost soul. Our president is a lost soul. It's pathetic.
Not too lost to throw that bill in the trash and then throw that trash can in the trash and then throw that trash can in a dumpster and then bulldoze that dumpster. However, I'm here to stand in the way of all that noise, kill that noise. Not only should Dulles be renamed for Donald Trump, it's the only logical name to adorn the airport simultaneously named amongst the top 5 most expensive airports in the nation and the worst 10 airports in the world. Did I mention it was also named one of the ugliest airports in the world? It's been so bad for so long, I even addressed it back when I hosted the news. So let's see, we got bad service, we got overpriced. I mean, sounds like a tagline to every Trump business I've ever seen. And now just a sprinkle of unsightly on top of it. This is a match made in Mar-a-Lago. The location for Dulles, by the way, was chosen by President Dwight Eisenhower, a Republican, and the airport itself dedicated by President John F. Kennedy, a Democrat, a few years later. And what better way to memorialize a man who took over the Republican Party after being a Democrat for most of his life? I mean, that location can be best described as Africa, landing over 25 miles away from DC, making it so inconvenient to get to, people choose to fly into DCA or even BWI, as in Baltimore, Washington International, which is in Baltimore. That's a whole nother city. When you got people ready to fly into a whole nother city, well, that would be like the choice mainstream Republicans find themselves in today with Trump, right? Now, part of the annoyance of Dulles stems from the shuttles you have to take, get to take from the gate when your plane lands over to the main terminal where the baggage is picked up, which means once you've waited for your plane to actually arrive, then deplane, then clean the plane, then load, then take off, then land, then deplane. Now you got to wait for a small shuttle to get your bags. Oh, and you're probably thinking the large subway type shuttles some airports have for convenience. No. Think like an overcrowded commuter bus filled with people that are late to work and were told if they come late one more time, that was going to be it. That's the energy in those shuttles, and that's the size of those shuttles that can only fit a handful of people at a time. So even when you didn't fly Southwest, you still gonna have to throw them bows. It's tedious, yet somehow less tedious than the daily blatherings from Trump on any one of his 91 cases that needs to be sorted out during election season. Dulles boasts the most international traffic of any airport in the mid-Atlantic region outside of New York. Just how Trump still brags about his business acumen despite being unable to do business in New York. You would think a major airport of this size in our nation's capital would never close shops at 9 p.m. when servicing international flights or have 2+ hour wait times in customs and immigration. What will people think of us? Probably exactly what they thought of us during every international trip I've taken after 2016. You elected who? I remember once, and by that I mean the very last time I flew into Dulles. The flight was like half the price. I was in the immigration line, and the couple in front of me was arguing. Turns out they had spent the entire flight from London fighting about whether they were going to stay together or break up. Apparently the man wanted to stay together, but the woman was all, change your heart. However, when the plane landed, his phone was just flooded with messages. I don't know if he was asleep or he was in the bathroom, but either way, you can't be caught lacking when you live in dirty. Anyway, he must have got messages from all of Northwest DC because She was not happy. And she picked this moment to leave for good, right in the Dulles immigration line. Now, if we're not going to name this place after Trump, I have no idea what we're doing. Do it for Ivana, and then open up like a Marla Maples lounge if you want to do dirt. Now, there is another possibility. Did you know there was an all-black town called Willard, Virginia, that was destroyed to build what is now Dulles International Airport? Back in the late 1950s, notices were sent to the residents claiming the land was condemned to free up space for the airport. And the town itself, by the way, was named after a rich white landowner, Joseph Edward Willard, whose family actually received reparations from the federal government for the slaves they owned back in the 1860s. So another option would be to honor the loss of those whose lives were turned upside down to even create a Dulles airport. Or you could name it after the man who built his career on the backs of swindling the little man. Actually, that's the best case for Donald Trump International of all. Welcome to your February recap and review with Reese Waters, where I grade the last 30 some odd days we just had in hopes I can foster and promote gratitude when the times were good, but also give you a place to commiserate our collective garbage experience when times are like they usually are. Don't forget to like and share the video and give me your score in the comments below. And also, if you have any personal moments of triumph or misery, I'll take those under advisement as well. Let's get to February. And how can I talk about February without starting with the Super Bowl? The Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Philadelphia Eagles 38-35 in Super Bowl 57. Let's see, LVII. Yes, I believe that is 57. Winning their third Super Bowl in franchise history. Why do we still do the Roman letters? Patrick Mahomes was excellent, which is even more impressive when you realize his brother is Jackson Mahomes. Thankfully, the talentless Bama gene missed him and went to his younger brother instead. Jalen Hurts played well enough to make it a close game and to secure a massive bag from the Eagles to stay in Philly. Meanwhile, Philly's former quarterback Carson Wentz crashed and burned his way out of DC. Man, see, I said I wasn't going to talk about them. I said I wasn't going to talk about the Commanders last year because I'm going to get mad and then I'm going to get sad. You know what? Let's just move on to the next story. Although we did get Eric Bieniemy from the Chiefs, so there's hope for DC, once Ron Rivera gets fired and they change that god-awful name. Scott Adams, the creator of the Dilbert comic strip, lost his distributor and book publisher after making racist remarks on social media. Well, if you looky here, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions. Adams posted a YouTube video calling Black Americans a hate group and suggesting that white people should, quote, get the hell away from them. He did this on YouTube, the place with the most ratchet comment section ever, but not y'all. Y'all are cool. Scott Adams thought he was slick. Now he drawing a work cartoon and he ain't got no job. You know what? Dilbert was dry anyway. Ain't nobody gonna miss it. Ain't nobody coming to see you, Dilbert. You'll never be Garfield. I would much rather read Andy Capp. I would rather read Prince Valiant. And I ain't read Prince Valiant since one of those sick days back in grade school when you literally would read anything under the sun. As a matter of fact, why don't we go ahead and bring back the Far Side? We are absolutely done with Gilbert calling black people a hate group. Who do we even have the power to oppress? We didn't even get a black Dilbert character until 2022. And he looked just like Kanye. In positive news, Keke Palmer gave birth to her first child in February. Congratulations to Keke. I hope you're enjoying the best parts of motherhood, that newborn smile and getting to know the life that you created and going to Vegas and dancing on Usher. Like the whole entire experience. Hopefully this saga ends better than it's going right now. Good luck to them because that baby's going to hear about all this on social media one day. I mean, all of our kids will. I know mine won't be proud. The U.S. Air Force shot down what was described as a surveillance balloon from China as it flew over waters off the coast of South Carolina. Come on, China. Spy balloons? That's what we're doing? What type of Inspector Gadget espionage was that? You got 6 billion people. Y'all couldn't spring for actual spies? Their foreign intelligence just read a copy of Jules Verne's Around the World in a Day and was like, that's it, I got it. Then we sent the Air Force after something they could have taken out with a well-thrown dart. And believe me, it probably costs a whole month of my tax dollars to do so. I think they did all this just to distract us from TikTok. Hey, we're not capable of stealing your data. All we got is these balloons. Now download this app. North Korea fired a ballistic missile towards the sea of its east coast after Pyongyang warned of strong response to the U.S.-South Korea military drills coming up. Or, in other words, Kim Jong-un continues to Kim Jong-un. Now, they are the only nuclear power in the world that feels the need to do things that shout, hey, look at me, I'm big, I'm strong. That whole regime should have gotten hugged more when they were kids. That is toxic behavior. Doesn't get any more toxic than that. We're talking nuclear fallout, so I mean that literally. This is just so much Little Kim energy, but I ain't gonna say too much about it because Little Kim likes to take out his enemies. I should probably just shut up and move on to the next story. Just know if anything happens to me, it was probably Kim. On the topic of petty, Representative Ilhan Omar was voted out of the Foreign Affairs Committee as members of the House of Representatives voted along party lines. Republicans going after a Muslim and a woman? No. Get out. Hey, they're going to regret these revenge votes when the shoe is on the other foot. Ain't no fun when the rabbits got the gun, but I guess you know that now after the whole Speaker of the House mess that went on later in the year, thanks to more petty spite voting by Republicans. But let me not get ahead of myself. In Chicago, Lori Lightfoot lost her bid for re-election, bringing an end to her time as mayor. That is a shame. No, not because she was a good mayor, because doesn't appear that she was. It's a shame because this woman was a meme factory. She looked like a character from a sitcom pretending to be an elected official. Her most memorable quote as mayor was telling people to stay inside during a pandemic, saying, quote, your jump shot is always going to be weak. Stay out of the parks. Now that is leadership. And in fact, Russell Westbrook could have used that kind of tough love last season. Your jumper is weak. Stay inside the three-point line. Lori Lightfoot, I'm going to miss you in your overgrown suits out here dressed like a 2003 NBA draft pick. Also in February, an ice storm caused widespread power outages and transportation disruptions in Texas and other parts of the southern United States. And a terrible train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio caused a fire and prompting evacuations. Plus, the Biden administration began accepting applications for student loan forgiveness under the limited waiver program. And I'm sure that's going to go smoothly because everybody wants more kids to have access to education, right? Right? But there were moments of hope. Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime show impressed, well, everybody, which is nearly impossible. I mean, she had the highest approval rating maybe of the year, but you have to stay tuned. Shakira and PK's split up provided hope for the rest of us that one day we could have a very famous and well-documented romance that blows up spectacularly. And we also got a full-length film called Cocaine Bear. Sure, it cost us Succession, but, well, actually, that was a terrible trade, but it didn't cost us Succession this month, so we ain't got to worry about it. Put that thing on layaway. Finally, on a sad note, President Jimmy Carter entered hospice care. But the good news is he's still hanging on as of this video. He might outlive the people that are caring for him. All jokes about dark subject matter aside, Jimmy Carter was a great man, is a great man, and we should all give him his flowers while he's still here to appreciate it. Now, what did I give January? I gave January a C. That was kind of harsh. Okay, February certainly comes below that. All of this misery in only 28 days? I didn't even have time to It all started. Oh, that ain't nothing but MSNBC. you my full breakdown of all the Ronna McDaniel drama tomorrow. And believe me, it's going to be worth it. But today, I wanted to focus on this. The day Elon Musk just gave up, he posted, NBC just hired and immediately fired Ronna McDaniel because the team refused to let even one Republican join them. That's how biased they are. Now, if you've ever watched MSNBC or heard of MSNBC or can spell MSNBC to put it into a Google search, you would know that Michael Steele, the former chair of the Republican National Committee from 2009 to 2011, the same position Ronna McDaniel had, appears regularly on the network. That's in addition to Nicole Wallace, Joe Scarborough, Charlie Sykes, and likely more as we get closer to the election, because opposing voices have always been a thing on cable news.
I noticed that about Trump aides on CNN. I mean, there were times in 2017 when Kellyanne Conway was on this network all the time.
Donald Trump gets really lucky.
Oh,
this is
what it is?
Of course.
Oh, it's the genius of Truth Social that has under 500,000 users.
No. You can't ask me a question.
Because you can't answer the question.
Oh, you can't ask me a question, honey. I can't answer, so don't even try.
Now, why would he say something so easily debunked? Well, it got me thinking back to Elon's interview with Don Lemon.
There's no evidence
they have
of that.
not
There's no evidence about lowering standards, and I think that there is.
Leave that as a false statement you're making.
Okay, well, we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I think
the interesting thing is when this is posted on the X platform, there will be a whole bunch of things that rebut what you said and what I said, and so people can then make their own decision based on the replies and the rebuttals and the community notes.
Musk makes a statement that even he can't back up, but calls for reinforcements from Twitter in an actual real-life conversation. Kind of reminds me when I got into a fight in the 3rd grade and I pretended to be Optimus Prime and called for all the other Transformers to come back me up. They didn't come. And neither did Elon's sycophants, because this is a real-life conversation. What's wrong with you? I lost that fight, by the way, but I still came off looking better than this man does today. All of a sudden, the stupidity of questioning DEI because of the SAT scores of HBCUs in an open forum makes so much more sense. So I think I got the game. You just say stuff, and then you let the support you get validate that you're right. Support on a platform you control and manipulate, amplifying your own account and one supportive of you and suppressing dissent. As you ban and block accounts critical or say things that you don't like. In other words, the exact same thing that you're accusing MSNBC of doing. In fact, didn't you just cancel Don Lemon's show because you didn't like the interview he conducted? That is Mr. Free Speech for you. Or Muskie if you're nasty. Oh, what? Y'all got better ones? Elon Musk is the mean girl about to flunk English because none of her followers have the courage to tell her,
Cole, you stupid.
Since I'm in the neighborhood, let's see what they got going on over at X. Oh snap, that looks serious. Looks about right.
Republican Party is very bleak. When Republicans in Congress can never follow through, when Republicans in Congress put America last and countries like Ukraine first, we aren't going to have a future Republican Party, Steve. We'll never win another election because we haven't given our voters anything to vote for.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Now, when we last checked in on Marjorie Taylor Greene, codenamed Capitol Hill Karen, she was fresh off spring break, ready to destroy her own party.
We should be prepared to hold on and do what is right, to do what our voters sent us to do. But that has not happened this Congress. As a matter of fact, our Republican House majority has failed completely.
Well, guess what? It's working.
I think she's uninformed. She is a total waste of time. She is a horrible leader. She is dragging our brand down. She, not the Democrats, are the biggest risk to us getting back to a majority.
Cheer up, Tom. Your brand was down bad with Kid Rock and them before she came in. That's why you empowered her and her cronies.
He will survive. Look, the House is a rough and rowdy place, but Mike Johnson is going to be just fine. I served 20 years in the military. It's my absolute honor to be in Congress, but I served with some real scumbags. Look, Matt Gaetz, he paid minors to have sex with him at drug parties. Bob Good endorsed my opponent, a known neo-Nazi. These people used to walk around with white hoods at night. Now they're walking around with white hoods in the daytime.
Whoa! By the way, that was Republican Congressman Tony Gonzalez who had that to say about his party. And what do you say to that, Marge?
This is an extremely concerning situation. I don't think anyone in the United States government, Americans, do not support actual Nazis or white supremacists. I know I certainly do not.
Hey, Maxwell Frost, you want to take this?
Interesting to hear my colleague just now talk about disavowing white supremacists when in 2022 she spoke at an event led by white supremacist and white nationalist Nick Fuentes, and when asked about it, doubled down on it and said, we're going to focus on people, not labels. So get out of here with that damn hypocrisy.
Well, Marge, when in doubt, just evoke Laken Riley.
Like Laken Riley? You're familiar with her, right?
Congressman Art Briggs.
Are you familiar with Laken Riley?
I am familiar with the case.
You should have deported her so that she could be alive today. Her parents would have appreciated that.
Maybe Border Patrol?
Let's talk about Border Patrol apprehensions between ports of entry at the southwest border of terrorists.
And I have to say, it is pretty rich hearing the gentleman from Georgia express her concern about terrorism when she literally was selling defund the FBI t-shirts and hats on her website for $30 a piece. $30 for the shirts and another $30 for the hats. You don't get both for just the $30. The leading law enforcement agency tasked with combating terrorism in this country and keeping people safe. And she wants to defund it. So I am not going to take any lectures from her on securing this homeland from terror.
Ooh, let's get crazy. Space lasers.
So no more witnesses? I was hoping Marjorie Taylor Greene would come and talk about her space lasers amendment. Anyway, but she's not here, so I will.
Without objection, the committee stands in recess subject to the call of the chair.
Now, Marge, how you gonna bring up space lasers and then don't show up to the meeting? Don't throw feces and hide your hand. Show us the brown nail. Nothing looks worse than that unless you try to grandstand on an expert in an open forum, not thinking he could respond.
So when you want to talk about misinformation, Mr. Snyder, you might actually look a little closer to American media if you don't like what they're saying. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.
Mr. Chairman, does he have the opportunity to respond to the gentlelady?
Sure.
Yeah.
I didn't ask him a question, Mr. Raskin.
You asked multiple questions.
First of all, I'd like to thank the representative from Georgia by making clear with her comments and with her person that
any discussion of political warfare has to include Russia, Ukraine, and America. She's just demonstrated that point, I think, very powerfully. On the question of Nazis, I've written 2 books as a historian about Nazis and the Holocaust. On the question of Ukrainian nationalism, I am the leading scholar of that subject in North America and have been writing about it for 20 years. If the chamber is interested in the degree of far-right participation in Ukrainian politics, you can be assured that no far-right party has ever crossed 3% in Ukrainian election. So, of course, there are bad people in every country, but by any comparative standard is a very small phenomenon. In Russia, on the other hand, the army includes openly Nazi formations, such as Rushich. The government itself is fascist in character, and it is carrying out a war which includes deportation of children by the tens of thousands, the open intention of destroying a state, as well as mass torture. So if we're looking for fascism, and if there is anyone who is sincerely concerned about halting fascism or racism, you would wish to halt Russia.
That was bad. That was bad. Like your mention's bad. Now look, MTG or CHK, sorry. Look, I appreciate what you're doing for the Democrats.
Mike Johnson's speakership is over. He needs to do the right thing to resign and allow us to move forward in a controlled process.
Yeah.
If he doesn't do so, he will be vacated.
Well, with all due respect, you didn't give me a plan for the speaker's role. And again, does this mean you are going to file that motion at some point?
It's coming regardless of what Mike Johnson decides to do.
If and when the motion to vacate is introduced, that there will be immediate resignations of a couple of more moderate members of Congress. And in the event that that happens, that ultimately means it does go to a Democrat speaker. And so we're in a predicament.
Hakeem Jeffries, Speaker of the House. I kind of like the sound of that. And your work has been instrumental in making that happen. But you're getting a little too close to Russia. Yeah, you're blowing your cover.
They want Russia to win so badly that they want to oust the speaker over it. I mean, it's a strange position to take.
Well, first, I mean, look, based on what Marjorie Taylor Greene's been doing, that's why today I filed an amendment. It's in the system, which would name her Congress's special envoy to Putin.
Well, Moscow Marjorie has reached a new low. During the Russian Revolution, Lenin talked about American journalists who were writing glowing reports about Russia at the time as useful idiots. And I don't even think that Marjorie reaches that level of being a useful idiot here. She is just mouthing the Russian propaganda and really hurting American foreign policy in the process. She's acting completely irresponsibly.
I mean, it's so bad, even the Russians are starting to notice.
The issue is not with Johnson. Speaker Johnson is not the one who's running Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene is running Congress. Everyone is afraid of her.
Выйти из альянса призывает Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is proposing for the U.S. to withdraw from NATO. She believes that Americans should help Putin win.
Now, while I will concede, everybody is afraid of her. They weren't wrong about that, but I wonder why the Russians think that she runs things. Like our whole government is run by social media. You know what? I guess they weren't wrong on that either. Let's see. Greene is a real beauty. She's a blonde who wears white coats with a fur collar. She's demonstrably heterosexual. What the hell does demonstrably heterosexual mean? She walking around covered in condoms with a t-shirt that says "A Few Good Men"? What is demonstrably heterosexual? Now, I was never as riled up to take down Russia as I am right now. Greene is a real beauty. She's a blonde who wears white coats with a fur collar. Put that on every tank. They need to go.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're going to speak to her this week. Have you spoken to her?
I tried. I tried over the 2-week break. She wasn't interested in speaking.
I mean, it is spring break. Where could she be?
Steve, I'll tell you, I was at the tire shop here in my hometown of Rome, Georgia today, and people were asking me about it. They're outraged. Everywhere I go in my district, everyone is so angry at Mike Johnson.
Ditching a work call to hang out at the tire shop? Now that's how you spend a vacation. Now, y'all remember when we last left Marjorie Taylor Greene, codenamed Capitol Hill Karen.
But yet our majority has been completely
Members are
handed over
reminded to direct their
Democrats.
remarks to the chair, please.
Madam Speaker, it is the will of our voters and it is the will of Republicans across the country that this bill should not be brought to the floor, that this bill will absolutely destroy our majority, and will tell every single one of our voters that this majority is a failure.
Well, Speaker Mike Johnson is doing everything he can to please his caucus.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, you're going to speak to her this week. Have you spoken to her?
I tried. I tried over the 2-week break. She wasn't interested in speaking. And that's okay. Look, Marjorie is upset about the spending bill, and guess what? So am I.
If you leave me now, you take away the biggest part of me.
As it relates to Marjorie Taylor Greene, real quick, so you've reached out, but she's not returning your calls or something along those lines?
We exchanged text messages over the break.
Ooh, darling, please don't go.
So you've reached out, but she's not returning your calls or something along those lines?
We exchanged text messages over the break multiple times and told her that I really would love to visit by phone or at her convenience, and she said she wasn't interested in that. So.
Ooh, girl, I just want you to stay. Now, if you're scoring at home, we have the Speaker of the House going all out to please an extremist in his party for the crime of negotiating to keep the government open. That is where we're at. That is where we're at. Is it going to work? Well, let's see. What is your experience with negotiating with crazy? How do you negotiate with crazy? I tell you what you don't do. What you don't do is you negotiate with logic. You can't use logic to negotiate with crazy. Only crazy can win over crazy. And she's coming in with a full head of steam because she spent her break, her own private time, further destroying the GOP's functionality.
We should be prepared to hold on and do what is right, to do what our voters sent us to do. But that has not happened this Congress. As a matter of fact, our Republican House majority has failed completely.
More.
But let's talk about what this really is, Steve. This is a war on Christianity. The Ukrainian government is attacking Christians. Russia is not doing that. They're not attacking Christianity. As a matter of fact, they seem to be protecting it. So that's something else that's clear and obvious to many people that are looking closely at what's going on.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Does she really have that long white couch just facing nothing? That is called boss decor. She don't got the time or apparently the money for a TV. She just sits there and stares at the wall and thinks about how to further destroy the GOP. Now that is commitment. Now, about what you said, you know how wrong you got to be to get corrected by Elon Musk's website? Not to mention, Ukraine is 85% Christian. That's according to a survey by the Kiev International Institute of Sociology. Do you know how high 85% is? That is the percentage of your colleagues that would help you pack when you finally get voted out of office. It is also the percentage chance that Trump stared directly at the eclipse. ask you, what is this persecution complex, the war on Christianity? Like, to say it's a war on religion is one thing, but specifically a war on Christianity. So Islam and Judaism just standing there like, word? So you're the one that's being persecuted, even though Islamophobia been hot since 2001. And we're having this whole national debate about anti-Semitism and what constitutes it and what doesn't. But Christianity is the one that's having the war being waged on it. Okay, I understand. This sounds a lot like that war on freedom that W used to talk about. Oh, okay, yeah. No, it's not that we meddle in their affair. They just hate our freedom. Yeah, they just hate our freedom. What our freedom to meddle in their affairs. That's mostly what they hate. What's that? Oh, she's not done? Okay, I'm gonna let her continue her work.
Mike Johnson has completely changed his character in a matter of about 5 months after he has become Speaker of the House. Mike Johnson is a Christian. He called himself a conservative, always has been. He's a Republican member, but yet here we are after the minibus was passed just almost 2 weeks ago in Washington. But no, Mike Johnson has made a complete departure of who he is and what he stands for. And to the point where people are literally asking, is he blackmailed? What is wrong with him? Because he's completely disconnected with what we want.
Do you think he is being blackmailed?
I have no idea.
You gotta love the use of some people. I gotta start using that. Some people, hey, some people said they saw you out at the club last night. What you talking about? I was with you last night. Some people be talking, man. I'm just checking. I'm just checking. You got so much done, Marge. I almost regret you coming back to work, especially since that means that I no longer have that 1,000-yard buffer. But that, by the way, that is nothing compared to the relief that your colleagues feel.
My experience with Marjorie is people have talked to her about not filing articles of impeachment on President Biden before he was sworn into office, on not filing articles of impeachment that were groundless on other individuals in the Biden administration. And she was never moved by that. She was always focused on her social media account. And Moscow Marjorie is focused now on this Ukraine issue and getting her talking points from the Kremlin and making sure that she is popular and she is getting a lot of coverage.
Moscow Marjorie, not bad.
It's a performance art theater. I mean, that's really what the House has become, is performance theater, mainly for the Republicans. It's all about how loud and angry can you be, because you'll get retweets, you'll get, Instagram, you'll be on the news. It's all about trying to yell at whoever's testifying in front of your committee so that Fox News covers it that night. And that's like a huge win in the office, and everybody in your staff celebrates because you made the clip on Hannity or whatever. And so there's a lot of people that are serious that are just saying it's not worth it.
Yes, exactly. And that's why she's our secret weapon. You keep doing you, Capitol Hill Karen.
I was fed up with Republicans not following through. Republicans have a very, very bad habit of making promises on the campaign trail, making promises to you on television, talking tough against the Democrats' agenda, and then doing nothing to stop it.
Yes, yes.
You guys saw that video of Joe Biden when he saw me this week at the State of the Union. This is the hat I had on. There's nothing that scares him worse than a MAGA hat.
Don't you blame that hat.
The only way you get your freedoms back is it's earned with the price of blood.
People are not affecting climate change. You're going to tell me that back in the Ice Age, how much taxes did people pay, and how many changes did governments make to melt the ice? I'm a MAGA extremist. What can I say?
You are the same level of scary, no matter what you got on, as long as you got on something. Capitol Hill Karen Marjorie Taylor Greene threw a Georgia MAGA jamboree in her district for Donald Trump over the weekend, and decided to give back, offering others an opportunity to embarrass themselves, because why should she have all the shame?
We've all been questioning his mental capacity, and he had this pen in his hand. I had given it to him as he walked down the aisle, and when I yelled out at him and I said, say her name, Lincoln Riley, he picked up the pen, and he had it right there. It's easy to read, Lakin, but he said Lincoln Riley.
I'm sorry, come again?
When I yelled out at him and I said, say her name, Lincoln Riley.
So you made this whole point to talk about what he said, only to say it yourself?
And I said, say her name, Lincoln Riley. He picked up the pen, and he had it right there. It's easy to read, Lakin, but he said Lincoln Riley.
Oh, the shame. I would have just walked out like Hunter Biden.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me, Hunter. Apparently you're afraid of my words.
Well, I get it, you talk, and sometimes it comes out wrong. I mean, it's not like you misspelled it or anything in front of her family. Let's see what other gems she had in store.
President Trump built a strong economy, and everyone had hope for the future, and they were offended.
Hey, Pete, you want to take this one?
Yeah, 3 or 4 years ago, you couldn't get toilet paper.
I don't know why y'all keep doing this.
Ronald Reagan famously asked us, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago?
And people look around and they say, am I better off now than I was 4 years ago?
Who gonna tell her? Now, I'll keep it a buck. The economy was rolling going into COVID. I remember 2019 was the first time I felt too good to get on Spirit Airlines. Yet at the same time, unemployment reached its lowest level since 1969 under Joe Biden. The U.S. gained a record 7.27 million new jobs in 2021, and the stock market hit an all-time high. I'm offended. You think I'm offended?
Let's talk about Fannie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. We, all of Georgia, we are so embarrassed by this woman. We want her out of office. We're doing everything we can to get her out.
So you want Willis out of office because she got it in? Marjorie Taylor Greene, this you? This is you, right? I'm pretty sure this you. Let's see who else was there.
President Trump is a great athlete. When he was growing up, he was excelled in sports. And I'm not sure if I should say this, but just a few weeks ago, President Trump put to shame 2 professional golfers. I ain't gonna mention their names.
Nah, they need to name names. You mean to tell me they are professional golfers losing to this guy? They have sponsors that are paying them good money. That is theft to take their money for playing golf, and you losing to this guy. If you see something, say something, and this is a crime. Speaking of which.
But I think we would all agree President Trump has an amazing family. And I think we also can agree that you can tell a lot about somebody by how their children are raised.
Sorry, I'm a little confused. You mean the family with Ivana when Ivanka was raised, like before the Marla Maples thing, or like during the Marla Maples thing with the co-parent situation? Or like now with Melania and the younger kids with the 2 stepmoms?
And I think we also can agree that you can tell a lot about somebody by how their children are raised. President Trump is unfailingly loyal.
Y'all trying me today. No, because y'all trying me today. I know what it is, because y'all want me to wild out and get my blood pressure up. And you know black men of a certain age have issues when it comes to our blood pressure and our health. I need to keep my stress low. Y'all want me to wild out and cause me to bust a gasket. Next thing I know, I'm saying something crazy on Al Green's internet, and now I got strikes on the channel. And it's a whole man. No, because y'all trying me today. Y'all trying me today. You want me to lose it. You want me to lose it. I know a setup when I see one. Let's see who else was there.
So what is it about President Trump that made y'all want to come out and wait in line for hours to see him today?
Me specifically, I'm type 1 diabetic. So anytime that I have to get insulin, it's really hard It's very expensive. And I believe that Trump has done, what he can to help. And it's really appreciative.
You want to tell her, or should I? You want me to tell her? You know, why don't we let Joe tell her?
I passed a law that lowers prescription drug prices, caps insulin.
Something tells me that's not going to land like it should. Facts just don't fact like they used to, and we know exactly why that is.
You're not going to tell me that Trump didn't win Georgia.
See, now I'll say in her defense, the best case that Trump won Georgia is her very existence and the fact that I have any idea who she is.
But it was an amazing phenomenon.
Oh, look who stopped by.
And I do protect women. Look, they talk about suburban housewives. I believe I'm doing well. The polls are all rigged. Of course, lately they have been rigged because I'm winning by so much. I don't want to say it. Disregard that statement.
Now, MAGA, you should be offended.
I believe I'm doing well. The polls are all rigged. Of course, lately they have been rigged because I'm winning by so much. I don't want to say it. Disregard that statement.
He not even hiding his grift now. He just breaking in broad daylight with a Trump University moving van in the driveway. Like, y'all give me all your decency, common sense, and shame. I want it all. Run it.
Should be 100% of the black people should vote for Trump because I did more for black people than any president other than Abraham Lincoln. It's true. It's true. I did more than any president other than Abraham Lincoln. Think of it.
That's going to be a whole nother video. Oh, I got something for you, Don. Just like how I did when you mocked Biden's stutter.
I'm going to bring the country together. I'm going to bring it together.
That one is out now, and the Trump-Lincoln video is coming soon, so be on the lookout. Now, I've had a lot of jokes, but in all honesty, there was one thing I really wanted to express about Marjorie Taylor Greene.
We are so embarrassed by this woman. We want her out of office. We're doing everything we can to get her out.
Stand up, speak out, and pray that God will bless America again. I'm proud to endorse and encourage you to get this Bible. We must make America pray again. Get a copy of God Bless the USA Bible now and help spread our Christian values with others.
Bible sales. Now, the trade is not a complicated one. There are but two things to learn. One being where to find a wholesaler. The Word of God in bulk is a word. Two, how to recognize your customer. Who are you dealing with? It's an exercise in psychology, so to speak.
I knew I'd seen that before. First, Donald Trump was selling trading cards. Wait, let me see that again. This one looks a bit off. And why would they make this one without bone spurs? First, Trump was selling trading cards, then he was selling sneakers.
Wow, a lot of emotion. There's a lot of emotion in this room. Thank you. Thank you. So the really nice thing is we have lines, and I want to thank Chase and I want to thank Alan.
And I am definitely using that next time I bomb on stage. Wow, there's a lot of emotion in this room. I see some hatred, looks like some anger, pity, disgust. There are a lot of different emotions. This man will literally sell you the shirt off his back. No way. I wouldn't be surprised if he's driving around right now with a for sale sign in his back window, which by the way was always kind of weird to me, because if I saw that and I wanted to buy that car, what, you just gonna walk home? Or what, oh, you need me to drive you home? Well, guess what? That's gonna cost you. Well, Trump has now naturally landed on one of the most shameless and oldest grifts imaginable: religion.
I'm proud to be partnering with my very good friend Lee Greenwood. Who doesn't love his song, God Bless the USA?
Oh, now I see how this happened, because first I thought he might have gotten the idea in church, but no, it was Spotify.
In connection with promoting the God Bless the USA Bible. This Bible is the King James Version and also includes our founding father documents, yes, the Constitution, which I'm fighting for every single day, very hard, to keep Americans protected. Also, the Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, and the Pledge of Allegiance are all part of this God Bless the USA Bible, and it's just very important and very important to me.
Wait, you mean the same Constitution with the First Amendment respecting the separation of church and state? And you decided to actually put them in the same cover? Okay, that's an idea.
I want to have a lot of people have it. You have to have it for your heart, for your soul. Many of you have never read them and don't know the liberties and rights you have as Americans and how you are being threatened to lose those rights. It's happening all the time. It's a very sad thing that's going on in our country, but we're going to get it turned around.
Quote, a massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. End quote. This you?
Religion and Christianity are the biggest things missing from this country, and I truly believe that we need to bring them back, and we have to bring them back fast. I think it's one of the biggest problems we have. That's why our country is going haywire. We've lost religion in our country.
Oh, okay, I get it. So the whole spirit of combining the Bible with the founding documents is to, in fact, violate the Constitution. Now, that's on brand.
All Americans need a Bible in their home, and I have many.
Man, you can't count the Bibles in the hotel room as your own, but I do have no doubt you stayed in a lot of hotel rooms in your life. But okay, Donald, critics will say you're a lifelong grifter trying the last con to dig out from under your legal bills by appealing to the deepest convictions held by the conservative voter. But what say you?
Okay. You mentioned the Bible. You've been talking about how it's your favorite book. And you said, I think last night in Iowa, some people are surprised that you say that. I'm wondering what one or two of your most favored Bible verses are,
well,
and why.
I wouldn't want to get into it because to me that's very personal. You know, when I talk about the Bible, it's very personal, so I don't want to get into verses. I don't want to get into.
There's no verse that means a lot to you that you think about or cite.
The Bible means a lot to me, but I don't want to get into specifics.
Huh? So when you talk about the most read book in the world, that there's a whole industry deconstructing that you're actively leveraging to sell these Bibles, it's personal? You know what? I would tell you this, though. I would go to that church. Pastor Trump, what you preaching about this Sunday? You know what? It's personal. Yeah, it's personal to me. Why don't y'all just flip through the good book amongst yourselves and find your way out after a selection from the choir? Oh, I'm sorry. The hostages.
Even to cite a verse that you like.
No, I don't want to do that.
You're an Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Okay, you can definitely answer this one.
An Old Testament guy or a New Testament guy?
Probably equal. I think it's just an incredible, the whole Bible is an incredible.
Why does he come off like a kid doing a book report for a book he never read or even heard of? What part was your favorite? The whole thing? The whole thing was fire. From beginning to end.
2 Corinthians, right? 2 Corinthians 3:17. That's the whole ball game. Where the Spirit of the Lord, right? Where the Spirit of the Lord is,
there is liberty. And here there is Liberty College, but Liberty University. But it is so true. You know, when you think, and that's really, is that the one? Is that the one you like?
Well, you know what? The Bible is a long one. You know what? Why don't we try something shorter?
Favorite authors?
Well, I have a number of favorite authors. I think Tom Wolfe is excellent.
Did
He's
you
written
read
a great book.
Did you read Vanity of the Bonfires?
I did not.
It's a phenomenal book.
What book are you reading now?
Well, I'm reading
Bonfire of the Vanities.
I'm reading my own book again because I think it's so fantastic.
It's the best book you've read beside Art of the Deal.
I really like Tom Wolfe's last book, and I think he's a great author. He's done a beautiful job.
Which book?
His current book. His current book. It's just out.
Bonfire of the Vanities.
Yes.
So it's not the Bible that's the problem, it's the reading. How did you even get this far? You know what? Never mind. Money, cronyism, fraud, racism. I got it. I'm acting like I'm new here. I can tell you this, though. This is not going to go over well.
People ought to realize how offensive this is to those of us that really believe in the Bible. He's doing this during Holy Week. I mean, tomorrow is Good Friday. Sunday is Easter. Of all of the times you want to hustle using the Bible, why would you do it during Holy Week, which is really a spit in the face of people that really believe in the Bible from a Christian point of view? I wonder how many ministers, conservative evangelicals, that will go to their pulpit tomorrow or on Sunday, Easter, using the Trump Bible. They ought to be defrocked.
Well, I can't give you that one, Rev. The church grift go all the way back to Jimmy Swaggart, Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, Creflo Dollar, Eddie Long, Hillsong, from the Catholic Church all the way to the Bling Bishop. Let's not act like he's the only one trying to get over. That being said, you know, if he were a really good Christian, he would just give the Bible away. But you know what? Let's see how your followers are taking all this.
Please save me, Donald Trump. Please. I'm asking you. Please save me. Please save me. Please get these people away from me. In dear God's name, please stop these people.
Oh, they're taking it about as well as can be expected. I'll be honest. I think I saw that on a commercial. I'm just playing. Y'all know Trump can't afford commercials. You tried to. He might if he's selling up Bibles, though. You never know. He might if he's selling up Bibles. I think Trump actually messed up. I think what he should have did, because he needs to know the financial situation of his base, as opposed to a whole Trump Bible. I think he maybe should have sold it one book at a time. You know what I mean? Like one book at a time. What is it, 66 books in the Bible, I think? Is that right? That's a strange number if it's 66. For some reason, the number 66 popped in my head. I think it's 66 book in the Bible. And they're selling it for like 66, just $1 a book. Just sell it and give them $1 a book. Let them trade amongst. I got that Ecclesiastes. Who need that Trump Ecclesiastes? $1 a book would have been straight. Maybe combine the Corinthians, you know, maybe combine the Gospels, something like that, you know.
That is no longer admired, respected, or listened to will repeat your. Anytime I start talking, they take the red light off. Look, he can't campaign. He can't campaign. He can't speak. So we call it migrant crime. I came up with that name because I come up with a lot of good names. You see Maduro, Venezuela. We will expel the warmongers.
Thrilled to be back in the beautiful Virginia.
Ding, boom. This is me. I hear. Bing. We want to get Romney's and those out. He had experience in something else. You know that. Purposely mix up like a name like Bird Brain. You know who Bird Brain is? I happen to have a very good relationship with a woman called Melania. I mean, we don't need your vote. We want you to get out, though, and vote. We're a third world nation now.
just asked a simple question in my last video.
Listen, the rhetoric coming out of the Haley camp, talking about people's age. Candidates should focus on the issues without any question. When Nikki Haley talks about the president's age and a competency test, I also think that talking about someone's age is inappropriate.
Now, why would Trump's surrogate be discouraging focusing on age when that's Trump's favorite angle on sleepy Joe Biden?
The guy can't even walk off a platform. No, he can't find the stairs. He can't put two sentences together. When I imitate Biden, who can't find the stairs ever. What the hell are they doing? All you need is one stair. But for Biden, you need many. Thank you. Where am I? Thank you.
Then this weekend happened, and it all became clear. I see why Trump's people don't want him to focus on age any more than Lauren Boebert wants to focus on her family.
And Lauren, you're going to do fantastically in your district. Lauren Boebert, thank you.
Oh, of course you think that. What I'm about to show you is all from one weekend. Last weekend.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable.
Try again.
Heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Did you just give up mid-rant?
You have to see the chart. They're like this, and we're like, ding, boom. This is me. I hear, bing. How does the back of my head look?
You all right, man?
And in the Harvard-Harris bill also just came out.
Oh, you mean Harris poll. Then again, you do think polls are law.
And Putin, you know, has so little respect for Obama that he's starting to throw around the nuclear word today. You heard that, nuclear. He's starting to talk nuclear weapons today.
Come again?
And Putin, you know, has so little respect for Obama.
Oh, you mean Joe Biden, the current president. You know, not knowing the current president can get you committed.
I purposely mix up like a name like Bird Brain. You know who Bird Brain is, right, Nikki? With Nancy Pelosi. I put them in because they're interchangeable in my mind.
Mixing up Nikki Haley with Nancy Pelosi. It's on purpose. Kind of like when you just mixed up President Obama with President Biden, or when you confused E. Jean Carroll with Marla Maples, who you were married to.
You say Marla's in this photo?
That's Marla, yeah. That's my wife.
Which woman are you pointing to? No.
Here.
Carol.
Oh, is that?
The person you just pointed to was E. Jean Carroll.
Who is that? Who is this?
I mean, they both ended badly. But then there was that time you said you were going to have very powerful crime.
No, we're going to take over Washington, D.C. We're going to federalize. We're going to have very powerful crime, and you're going to be proud of it again.
Or when you mixed up World War II with World War III.
We have a man who is totally corrupt and the worst president in the history of our country, who is cognitively impaired, in no condition to lead, and is now in charge of dealing with Russia and possible nuclear war. Just think of it. We would be in World War II.
That was after confusing Biden and Obama again, one of many times. But you know what? Let's get back to last weekend.
Uh-oh, the red lights are starting to go off. Anytime I start talking, they take the red light off.
Huh?
Frankly, it's too long, so we call it migrant crime. I came up with that name because I come up with a lot of good names, don't I?
And that's what you came up with. Kime?
And they're going to destroy all of that. And you see what's going on in New York? They have pupils from foreign countries, from countries where they don't even know what the language is. We have nobody that even teaches it. These are languages that nobody ever heard of.
If you think that was bad, it wasn't even his first take.
People from places unknown, from countries unknown, who don't speak languages. We have languages coming into our country. We have nobody that even speaks those languages. They're truly foreign languages. Nobody speaks them.
Imagine that, just languages just coming into the country all by themselves.
We're a third world nation now.
Oh, so is that why all the languages want to come here?
We didn't have to bomb, and we didn't have to spend the money and the killing and everything else, and the world hates us to a level that you've never seen. Remember, I kept you out of wars, except I did defeat ISIS very strongly. We defeated ISIS. We took them. al-Baghdadi, Soleimani. We did a number that nobody's ever seen. It was going to take 4 to 5 years, they said, in Washington. It would take 4 to 5 years. I did it in 4 weeks.
No bombs. So how did you defeat ISIS? Oh, we defeated them with freedom.
For our great veterans, we passed VA accountability and VA choice. That was a big deal.
Now, I know you didn't.
For our great veterans, we passed VA accountability and VA choice. Nobody thought that was possible. They were trying to do it for 58 years.
Oh, it ain't a lie if you tell it twice, right? By the way, Veterans Choice was actually passed in 2014 when Obama was president. You mixing up the president again, Donald? If you need proof, this is him signing it.
I have no greater honor than serving as your President and Commander-in-Chief, and I have no greater privilege than the chance to help make sure that our country keeps the promises that we've made to everybody who signs up to serve. And as long as I hold this office, we're going to spend each and every day working to do right by you and your families. I'm grateful to you. God bless you. God bless America. With that, I am going to sign this bill. Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah, that was back when he was president in 2014. No, not now. That's Biden. Yeah, B-I-D-E.
And by the way, 82% of the country understands that it was a rigged election, okay? You can't have a country with that. A poll came out, 82%.
82%? You made that number up, didn't you? So what, even the Biden voters? Wait a minute. You think you got 82% of the vote, don't you? Okay.
I come under the Presidential Records Act. I'm allowed to do all of that. I'm allowed to do whatever I want.
Oh, it's very clear that you think that.
But, you know, I heard him coming in on the plane. I was listening, and I said to the people on the plane, watch this. This is Martin Luther King on steroids, okay? Now, I told that to Mark. I said, I think you're better than Martin Luther King. I think you are Martin Luther King ×2. And he looked at me, and I wasn't sure, was he angry because that's a terrible thing to say, or was he complimented? I have never figured it out.
Why can't we just leave Dr. King out of it? Why? Why do the most deranged people in our culture always have to bring up Martin Luther King? Mark Robinson, I'm on to you, though.
What they've done is it's all coming out of crooked Joe Biden because, look, he can't campaign. He can't campaign. He can't speak. He can't walk. He looks like hell.
Right. He can't speak. Have you watched any of this video? This was all just last weekend, and you would think if you were going to say somebody else can't speak, but then you messed up the word right before that, you would push it back a little bit. But not Trump. He has nothing if not the audacity. Trump was so bad, he had other people unable to speak.
Let me make something crystal clear. I have President Trump's back because he has my back. I'm with President Trump because he has your back.
Yeah, that was crystal clear. Even the national anthem singer forgot the words.
The perilous fight for the hours we've watched.
But nothing, and I mean nothing, could top this brother.
Under President Trump, black families had record unemployment.
Record unemployment. You sure about that, man? By the way, I already cleared that up in the last video. Biden had that, so he must mean record high. But, oh wait, there was one thing that just might top it.
Tell me 3 things you love about him.
No. Get that microphone out of my face, buddy. I don't like the microphone shoved in my face.
Okay. All good. All good. Hey, we're glad you're here.
Not as glad as I am, but you know what? Even a broken brain is right twice a day.
We are a nation whose once revered airports are a dirty, crowded mess. You sit and wait for hours and then are notified that the plane won't leave, and they have no idea when they will. Where ticket prices have tripled, they don't have the pilots to fly the planes, they don't seek qualified air traffic controllers, and frankly, They just don't know what the hell they're doing.
I have absolutely no objection to that, but I do have understanding. Now I see why, even though Biden is 81 freaking years old, they don't want Trump talking about age, because that rhetoric might come with a mirror.
I rise in extreme opposition to the second part of the omnibus bill, and it's time for us to go through the process, take our time, and find a new Speaker of the House.
God help us. The House Republican majority is a dysfunctional embarrassment.
This is not what it's supposed to be. This is not what adults in the room do.
If you think your job in life is to grandstand and complain while the other team runs over you, they're doing a great job.
I'm sick and tired of it. As a Republican, as an American citizen, I want them to get to work. I love Speaker Johnson. Who would be better than him, MTG? What is your plan?
What person who could actually pass a psychiatric competency test would want to lead a group that includes Matt Gaetz and Bob Good?
This is why conservatives call the GOP the stupid party, by the way.
That MAGA didn't go crazy. That MAGA went MAGA. It all started when Wisconsin Congressman Mike Gallagher announced his early resignation from Congress. And why would he want to leave? It seems like so much fun.
It is the worst year of the 9 years and 3 months that I've been in Congress. And having talked to former members, it's the worst year in 40, 50 years to be in Congress.
They're fleeing like roaches when the lights come on, or the junior high girls at Pentagon City when I took off my triple fat goose. By the way, that was Colorado Congressman Ken Buck, who also resigned early from Congress, further shrinking the GOP majority to 217 to 213, meaning Republicans could only afford a single defection on any vote if Democrats vote together. But wait, it gets better.
Mike Gallagher made an affirmative decision to give Democrats more power, since the GOP majority will now be down to 1. So, what if someone has a delayed flight, gets sick? There is zero room for error. And this is key. Had Gallagher walked out today, Wisconsin would have been able to have a special emergency election to fill his seat. But now, because he's putting it off till April 19th, it remains vacant until next year. Again, this pains me to say this. Thanks, Mike. Hope future Speaker Hakeem Jeffries sent you a nice fruit basket today.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. And I like the smug pain of that even better. It's kind of like watching shots of the losing fans after their school is sent home from March Madness. Matter of fact, can I see some more of that?
By summer, I think there's a distinct possibility that Democrats will have the House majority. The press, the liberals, they're salivating. This is like taking candy from a baby. Before Gallagher's announcement, our own Chad Pergram wrote, there will be 432 members, 218 Republicans to 214 Democrats. The margin is 4 seats, but the GOP cannot lose 2 votes and still pass a bill without help from across the aisle. Again, tie votes come into play. Republicans will be down to only a solitary vote to spare. In other words, now they don't have any votes to spare.
More.
Soon there's going to be no need to worry about motions to vacate the Speaker's chair, because they won't have a chair to vacate.
About that. See, we sent in our very special wrecking ball, Marjorie Taylor Greene, codenamed Capitol Hill Karen, to take care of that for us. That's right. The very same day, Marge filed a motion to boot Mike Johnson from the speakership, a reaction to the government funding bill from the far right of the House Republican Conference.
I rise in extreme opposition to the second part of the omnibus bill. No Republican in the House of Representatives in good conscience can vote for this bill. It is a complete departure of all of our principles, especially if you call yourself pro-life. This bill funds full-term abortion. This is not a Republican bill. This is a Chuck Schumer, Democrat-controlled bill coming from the House majority that is supposed to be controlled by Republicans, but yet our majority has been completely
Members are
handed
reminded
over
to direct their
Democrats.
remarks to the chair, please.
Madam Speaker, it is the will of our voters, and it is the will of Republicans across the country that this bill should not be brought to the floor, that this bill will absolutely destroy our majority, and will tell every single one of our voters that this majority is a failure. This is the bill that the White House cannot wait to sign into law. This is the bill.
You ever been caught next to somebody in the middle of a public freakout? Okay, I just want y'all to watch that again and focus on Chip Roy behind her.
The lady from Georgia is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in extreme opposition to the second part of the omnibus bill. No Republican in the House of Representatives in good conscience can vote for this bill. It is a complete departure of all of our principles, especially if you call yourself pro-life. This bill funds full-term abortion. This is not a Republican bill. This is a Chuck Schumer, Democrat-controlled bill coming from the House majority that is supposed to be controlled by Republicans, but yet our majority has been completely
Members are
handed over
reminded to direct their
Democrats.
remarks to the chair, please.
Madam Speaker, it is the will of our voters, and it is the will of Republicans across the country that...
He like, what? Why y'all sit me here? Ain't nobody gonna take the mic? Nobody gonna cut her off or nothing? People weren't that shocked when Kanye took the mic from Taylor Swift or from Mike Myers that time. We actually saw this coming. This was green with noted criminal Steve Bannon just days before.
This does happen to pass today or over the weekend. What then is the fate if we control the House, but we have a speaker that is basically pushing and passing the Democrats' agenda? What do you recommend should be the fate of Mike Johnson?
We are making that decision on a minute-by-minute basis today, Steve, and I think you can stay tuned.
Will you lead the effort to call for a motion to vacate?
Steve, we are going to be making decisions on a minute-by-minute basis today, and I urge you to watch and see what happens.
Ouch, it sounded like Marshawn Lynch.
I'm here so I won't get fined. 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 I'm just here so I won't get fined. Hey, I'm here so I won't get fined.
See, that's the thing about crazy. It's not really on anybody's team. Sure, it might work out today or next week. It might be fun in the short term, but it's definitely not marriage material. Sorry, back to the video. Take it away, Marge.
I filed the motion to vacate today, but it's more of a warning and a pink slip. I respect our conference. I've paid all my dues to my conference. I'm a member in good standing.
A member in good standing? What do you have to do to be in bad standing?
Yeah, go Trump!
Apparently marched to the stage and slapped somebody with the gavel. She's done everything but Wakanda kneel for Black lives. But she would do that if Trump told her to.
Have you talked to Trump? Have you talked to Trump about this?
I have not talked to President Trump about this.
Oh, you gonna be in trouble.
I filed the motion to vacate today, but it's more of a warning and a pink slip. I respect our conference. I've paid all my dues to my conference. I'm a member in good standing, and I do not wish to inflict pain on our conference and to throw the House in chaos. But this is basically a warning, and it's time for us to go through the process, take our time, and find a new Speaker of the House that will stand with Republicans and our Republican majority instead of standing with the Democrats.
That's what I'm talking about, Marjorie Taylor Greene. That's what I'm talking about. Chaos and madness. You know what? I owe you a huge apology. Here I am thinking you were here to work for conservative values, but you're here for the drama and the anarchy. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the friend who takes out the phone when you need backup and then posts it to Instagram without even tagging you. Not only do I not feel bad for the GOP, they deserve every bit of this. They are the ones who made the deal with the Freedom Caucus and turned their party over to the Donald Trump Defense Fund. That MAGA didn't go crazy. That MAGA went MAGA. And the fallout was glorious.
I consider Marjorie Taylor Greene to be my friend. She's still my friend.
And that's where you messed up right there.
But she just made a big mistake. You know, trying to vacate Mike Johnson's, I totally oppose that. Listen, Mike is a very good man. He begins every day from the right place. He's deeply principled. He's like a brother to me. And to think that one of our Republican colleagues would call for his ouster right now, it's abhorrent to me.
Look, you know, Marjorie supported Kevin McCarthy, so she understands how chaotic and destructive it is to vacate the chair.
And that's why we applaud it.
You know, when Matt Gaetz and 7 other Republicans teamed up with 208 Democrats to remove Speaker McCarthy, they created chaos and really were destructive to the Congress, to the institution. And so I think this is unnecessary. I think it's idiotic, frankly. And I think it does nothing to actually advance the conservative movement or serve the American people. The bottom line is we're in a divided government. We're not going to get everything we want. Chuck Schumer is the Senate Majority Leader. Joe Biden is the president. The only way to really advance the conservative movement is to win elections. And doing stunts like this actually undermines our ability to win elections.
Well, it'll probably get her reelected, though.
Sure, in an R+30, but you know what? The difference between having a Republican majority and not is seats like mine. It doesn't help the conference, and it certainly doesn't help the country when we engage in this inter-party fight.
You know what? Not sad enough.
God help us. The House Republican majority is a dysfunctional embarrassment. I mean, Speaker Johnson didn't ask for this job. He stepped up when the House couldn't elect a replacement for Kevin McCarthy. He's trying to manage an unmanageable conference. Republicans need to understand that they control 1/2 of one branch of government, and now they're going to control it by one vote. You can't impose your will on the entire government when you have 1/2 of one branch of government with one vote. The way, if you want, I want to cut spending too. I want to do all these things. If you want to do that, there's a simple way to do it: win elections. Don't nominate lunatics. You know, get people who can actually win a general election, not just a Republican primary. Take back the Senate. Take back the White House. That's how Biden got the spending through. So that's how, if we want to cut the spending, that's how you get to do it. You can't do it by having this internal chaos.
Perfect. Now show me more.
As I'm listening to Marjorie Taylor Greene, I hear her say, there's a video that everyone is focused on. That video is of illegal immigrants rushing our border. It is a video about 6 minutes ago we were set to play. It is a video that you're not seeing right now because instead we are talking about Marjorie Taylor Greene. It raises the question, she didn't make this live, so nothing happens for 2 weeks. Is this a fundraising exercise so you can go back to your district for 2 weeks and fundraise off of it? What's the motive here?
More!
The bills have been worse since McCarthy was gone. The Democrats are in greater control. The hardliners on the right have done nothing except make it worse. The Freedom Caucus right now has been a disaster in public policy terms. If you think your job in life is to grandstand and complain while the other team runs over you, they're doing a great job.
Even Newt is embarrassed. And people been calling him Newt for 80 years. More!
I feel we are seeing yet another tantrum by a tiny faction of that conference that is disrupting the entire machine that we just exhaustively waited for to get back on track. And here we are again, watching someone steal the time, steal the audio, steal the limelight, steal the attention. She says we should have our attention on the illegals streaming across the border, on a million other things. No, our attention was on you while you gave a presser. I'm sick and tired of it. As a Republican, as an American citizen, I want them to get to work. I love Speaker Johnson. Who would be better than him, MTG? What is your plan? And I don't want my legislature taking 2 days up to vote for that, to figure everything out, to look incompetent during a presidential election year. This is the last thing I want to be subjected with. This is, it's frankly, at a minimum, it's disappointing.
More!
What person that can pass a competency test would want to be the Speaker of the House? What person who could actually pass a psychiatric competency test would want to lead a group that includes Matt Gaetz and Bob Good and some of the other people that you just showed? I mean, Mike Johnson's as good as a gun. You had a speaker. Remember, you had Kevin McCarthy, and you wanted to get rid of him, and Jimmy Jordan wasn't good enough, and Tom Emmer wasn't good enough, and Steve Scalise. So, no, you got Mike Johnson.
More.
You know, and also, Rob, let me just talk back to this vacate measure. This was an asinine thing pushed forth by Matt Gaetz because he had a rift with McCarthy. And then he did also, just sadly enough, what I just got a text not 30 minutes ago from Marjorie saying, I'm wanting to raise money on this. Matt Gaetz raised money the whole week or the whole time he was creating chaos. This is not what it's supposed to be. This is not what adults in the room do.
Oh, really? Allow me to clutch my imaginary chain. Marjorie Taylor Greene has only been fundraising off publicity stunts ever since she followed the Parkland kids on Capitol Hill. That's all we know her to do. But oh, now it's a problem. What you gonna tell me next? George Santos is too good for this? No! When pretty boy George is embarrassed, I'm speechless. You know what? You know what I want to do? Something I've never done before. I'm going to give Laura Ingraham the last word.
This is why conservatives call the GOP the stupid party, by the way.
I mean, she's not wrong.
Liberal women tend to be some of the ugliest women I've ever seen. And I'm serious. I mean, zero makeup.
Well,
they take no pride in their... Well, they want to be men.
Oh, they want to be men? This shoe?
I'm kicking these shoes off, but I may keep the pantyhose on. It does feel kind of good.
Well, at least somebody is. Brian Glenn, who you may know as the guy holding Marjorie Taylor Greene's purse when she's talking crazy, of Right Side Broadcasting, had this to say about liberal women.
And I say this, that I believe that conservative and Republican people are better looking people. They're happy, they're joyous, they exercise, they get outside, they enjoy the outdoors. They're proud of themselves. They embrace their inner beauty and outer beauty. I mean, let's just, look, I gotta say this, and I know someone's gonna probably troll me on this, but show me, liberal women tend to be some of the ugliest women I've ever seen. And I'm serious. I mean, zero makeup.
Well,
they take no pride in their. Well, they want to be men. They take no pride in their dress, their attire, their makeup, their haircut. Half of them look like men. Hairy armpits, hairy legs. Come on, that is not embracing what it means to be a woman. So they have demonized what it means to be a woman. They don't dress like you. They dress like they're homeless.
They dress like you.
They're just like me, actually.
Now, in true Brian Glenn fashion, let me first go in on the woman, former Trump attorney Christina Bobb, who's now the RNC's senior counsel for election integrity, aka current Trump attorney. See, this is what happens when you pick me. I hope you're watching. You tried to egg him on, and now you're forever on camera with off-brand Dewey Cox talking about hairy legs and armpits. I hope all you pick-me's are watching, and it's not just women that are pick-me's, there's plenty of black pick-me's. I just did 2 videos all about Candace Owens. If you are a pick-me, pay attention. This is how this goes. She just successfully got this man to convey to her that as long as she stays in a dress and keeps her legs shaved, she's free to stick around. So all these liberal women are free to just do whatever they want, apparently, but a real woman does what I dictate to her that she should do. And she acts the way that I dictate to her that she should act, and she certainly looks the way that I dictate to her that she should look. I hope you're proud of yourself, and I hope all the other women watching are proud of you as well. See, this is the stupidity that I want in the RNC's Senior Counsel for Election Integrity. And yes, that is exactly the way that pick-me behavior always goes. Now, as for Glenn, why are you so interested in how other women look and dress? I mean, you got a lady. Oh, you know what? I get it now. I get it now. This was your cry for help. This was your way out. I get it. I get it. I'm gonna be honest, man, because I was wondering. You ain't been the same. You ain't been the same. No, because you started off looking regular. Okay, pre-Marjorie, you was looking like a regular reporter I would have just ignored. And then your hairpiece went MAGA. Then your eyebrows went MAGA. And now you look like you belong in the theater complaining about a Muppet show. And you know what? Why is it always these dudes with pharmacy face talking about how women look? You know what I'm talking about? Pharmacy face. Like you're not sure exactly what he got going on in the face, but you know that some symptom is just whooping his ass. That's why he's sitting there waiting for the pharmacy to fill his order. Normally you would just go about your business, but he is clearly visibly in so much discomfort and pain that he's just gonna sit right there and look at Reader's Digest while they very slowly fill your order. Yes, I know how slowly they fill their order. I pick up my prescriptions from CVS. Here's a quick rule of thumb. If your lady is a grandma, we don't need your takes on how women look today. It's creepy. No. If your lady is a grandma, we don't save your takes on how women look and behave today. My wife is not a grandma yet. Hopefully we are a few 4 or 5 decades from my wife being a grandma. But even I am borderline, don't need my takes on how women look and act today. It's creepy and wasteful because that anger player should be directed inward where it belongs. You're the one that decided to leave the house looking like that. Liberal women did not make that decision for you. You decided to settle down with Marjorie Taylor Greene, and that is not liberal women's fault. And insulting them isn't your way out of the relationship. You know why? Because Marjorie Taylor Greene is also a pick-me. Yeah, she's a pick-me too, so she probably loved what you had to say. What? Oh, I guess you got a new idea? You got a new plan?
I can tell you, I think a lot of people are up now. They're all hashtag I am up. Of course, come and check it out here. Starts on Saturday. I'm kicking these shoes off, but I may keep the pantyhose on. It does feel kind of good, actually. I'm not going to pee in them, I promise.
Ah, now that might actually work, Glenn. You might have actually found your freedom, because if there's one thing that's not going to go over well, it is gender bending. That is not going to go over well. I mean, unless you do, in fact, pee in the pantyhose, then Trump might actually call you in that case. Well, what's that? Oh, you want to sign off? Okay, go ahead. Tell him who's about to hit the market, Glenn. Yeah, no, go ahead. Tell him who's out here. Give it your best shot.
I want you guys to have a fantastic weekend, and here's why. This might be the last normal weekend that we have for quite some time. I mean, we've got this solar eclipse on Monday, this very rare solar eclipse. Who knows what the fallout from that will be? Plus, that will be combined with several earthquakes. We've already seen a few already. And why not sprinkle in this infestation of locusts that have been dormant for years and all of a sudden will attack mankind? So why not? Then throw in Joe Biden trying to get into a war with Iran for whatever reason he wants to do that. So on that note, have a great weekend. We'll see you next week, or maybe not.
That's the best you can come up with? Man, who you think you are, Sonny from The View?
We've got a solar eclipse. We've got the earthquake. She ran down the hallway.
The rapture is here.
The rapture's here. And then also I learned that the cicadas are coming.
Cicadas.
You stuck with Marge, man. You stuck. I'm sorry. This levels of off belongs together. Y'all both way too dangerous to be with anybody else, because you would ruin their lives and everybody they love. No, the two of y'all and Erykah Badu, y'all don't need to be with absolutely nobody. And by the way, you better act fast, because I hear Mike Johnson just sent flowers. And by the way, make sure you check out my piece about how Marjorie Taylor Greene spent her spring break when she wasn't running from Brian Glenn. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and get the notification when the next video drops.
Okay, but to be clear, the story that you relayed is not something that's happened under the Biden administration, that particular person.
Well, I very clearly said I spoke to a woman who told me about when she was trafficked when she was 12. So I didn't say a teenager. I didn't say a young woman, a grown woman, a woman.
Why you always lying? Why you always lying? Oh my gosh. In the aftermath of Senator Katie Britt's Real Housewives of Central Alabama audition/rebuttal to the State of the Union, a political storm has erupted surrounding her lies. Let's just call it what it is, lies. The kind of weak lies you tell your mama just to get out of the house because you know the fun you're going to have tonight is better than the regret you'll feel in the morning.
It's morning again in America.
It is morning in America. So you remember that part in Britt's speech?
I never could have imagined what my story would entail. To think about what the American dream can do across just one generation, in just one lifetime. It's truly breathtaking.
Sorry, I mean this part.
I traveled to the Del Rio sector of Texas. That's where I spoke to a woman who shared her story with me. She had been trafficked by the cartels starting at the age of 12. She told me not just that she was every day, but how many times a day she was. The cartels put her on a mattress in a shoebox of a room, and they sent men through that door over and over again for hours and hours on end.
During her address, Britt weaved in a compelling narrative about a trafficking survivor, Carla Jacinto Romero, during a border visit. However, it was revealed that Jacinto Romero was trafficked between 2004 and 2008 during the Bush administration. Now, when she told that story, I thought it might have been made up. I mean, I thought it was a good chance she just made it up. Like, I spoke to a woman. That's it. That's all you got. That's like saying, I had a friend tell me the other day.
I had a friend the other day tell me she was standing at a food truck. Two gentlemen approached her. One had tattoos all over his face. They looked like illegal, she said. And one had a clipboard, and he said to her, "Hello, miss, do you want to sign up to become a Democrat and vote?"
Sure, she did. The other irony of this is, it happened during the Bush administration, a Republican. You can't even reflexively blame Obama for this.
And Obama has plenty to do with it. Obama has plenty to do with it. I call him Biden's boss.
Just add that to the long list of things Bush is responsible for, along with the FEMA response to Hurricane Katrina, the WMDs, ringtone rap, and Ed Hardy t-shirts. Well, for this, we have journalist Jonathan Katz to thank, who in a TikTok video exposed the whole thing.
So in January 2023, Senator Britt, who had just become the junior senator from Alabama, traveled to southern Texas to the Del Rio district near the border of Mexico with two other Republican senators, Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee and Cindy Hyde-Smith of Mississippi. During this trip, among other scheduled visits, the senators had what they described as a round table, although you can see it's not a round table, it's a long table on which they are sitting on one side of it. It's a press conference. They were there with a Fox News contributor, Sarah Carter, who often does sort of the xenophobic anti-immigration coverage, as well as this woman, who the senators identify as Carla Jacinto Romero. All I had to do was click on Carla Jacinto Romero's name, that hyperlink, on Senator Blackburn's page, and it took me to this. This is Carla Jacinto Romero's testimony to Congress from 2015 about her experiences in Mexico. If you scroll down, you see it took place between 2004 and 2008. Now, I don't know what they put in the textbooks in Alabama these days, but Joe Biden wasn't the president of the United States in 2004 or 2008. He wasn't even the vice president of the United States. That wouldn't happen until 2009. In 2004 to 2008, the president of the United States was George W. Bush.
Now, the most important step, he identified the woman in question and traced the whole story. Solid work, my friend. and the reaction has been swift and immediate, as it should be.
The issue is a United States senator out and out lied. Alex, you're right. She blamed Biden for this. It happened years before Joe Biden was president. Quit with the nuance. She sat in front of the American people and she lied to us about a very serious problem. That's despicable.
Now, surely she'll have to respond, right? Like, you can't go out like Nick Saban. Katie, fight back.
Quick, yesterday when I had gone to the grocery store and actually picked up my children from school, I thought, he doesn't get this.
Wait a minute. Are you still in the kitchen?
Okay, but to be clear, the story that you relayed is not something that's happened under the Biden administration, that particular person.
Well, I very clearly said I spoke to a woman who told me about when she was trafficked when she was 12. So I didn't say a teenager. I didn't say a young woman, a grown woman, a woman when she was trafficked when she was 12.
Oh, you so very clearly said this was something that happened years ago. So were you responding to one of Bush's State of the Unions then? Was this some kind of Throwback Thursday kind of thing? That GOP always got their pulse on the culture.
Well, I very clearly said I spoke to a woman who told me about when she was trafficked when she was 12. So I didn't say a teenager. I didn't say a young woman, a grown woman, a woman when she was trafficked when she was 12. And so listening to her story, she is a victim's right advocate who is telling this is what drug cartels are doing. This is how they're profiting off of women. And it is disgusting.
It is disgusting. Did you tell Bush yet? Or you want me to tell him?
And so listening to her story, she is a victim's right advocate who is telling this is what drug cartels are doing. This is how they're profiting off of women. And it is disgusting. And so I am hopeful that it brings some light to it and we can actually do something about human trafficking and that's what the media actually decides to cover.
Oh, I get it. You're just trying to shed some light on a decades-long ongoing issue. Like if I said, oh, I'm sorry, I'm late to work. Car broke down, had to take the bus. Wait a minute, is that your car in the parking lot? Oh, yeah, I didn't say my car broke down and I had to take the bus, but sometimes cars break down and you have to take the bus. I'm just shedding light on a societal issue. Well, let's hear what she said immediately after that for a little context.
We wouldn't be okay with this happening in a third world country. This is the United States of America, and it is past time, in my opinion, that we start acting like it. President Biden's border policies are a disgrace.
Did she say Bush's border policy? Obama? Trump? Reagan? Ulysses S. Grant? She said Biden, right? Okay, you lied. And not once, mind you. Listen to what she said immediately after that story.
We wouldn't be okay with this happening in a third world country. This is the United States of America, and it is past time, in my opinion, that we start acting like it.
We wouldn't be okay with this happening in a third world country. This is the United States of America. I'll give you one guess what else Jonathan Katz found out.
These events didn't happen in the United States. These crimes didn't take place in the United States or even near the border. They took place in Mexico, in Guadalajara, in Mexico City, and other parts of Mexico.
She said it happened at our border in this country. It happened in Mexico. She lied.
It didn't even happen in America. This lady took a 20-year-old crime in Mexico and made it about Biden. Somehow a 42-year-old woman from Alabama, which passed a total abortion ban and now comes for IVF, that's only like the third or fourth worst thing about that response. But it's certainly relevant because it's a good thing Carla Jacinto Romero wasn't in Alabama, because if she would have become pregnant, they would make her have the baby. You want to talk about that?
The Republicans had an opportunity here to put their best foot forward and just sound normal. That's it. Don't shout, say normal things, and speak to regular Americans about what's real. And they blew it, as they do almost all the time. I don't know what the F I saw. I agree with the people saying she looked like she was auditioning for a show on Lifetime. The drama, the fake affectation, the over-the-top portrayal of emotions I did not believe she was feeling at all. Her inauthenticity, it was totally cringe.
Katie Britt was so bad, she made me agree with Megyn Kelly. What kind of monster are you?
Megyn Kelly, may she rest in peace.